Hi, I'm Phyllis from the Doll Corner, and welcome back. And be sure and subscribe and share and leave me comments and give me thumbs up and anything that will help my channel grow. But what I want to talk to you about today, we've been making a lot of these scrap crumb blocks. We have pieces like this. And sometimes they just stay like this, but it's nice to use them up. And I have made several quilts using pieces like this. And I'll tell you how I do it. I take a section, stuff out of the way. I'll take a section like this that I have sewn. And this, if I was making a half square triangle, not half, well, half squares, or I want a square, or a hexagon. Hexagon's a favorite shape of mine too. Anyway, I will take and make sure I'm not right on one of those lines. Like I could cut around there with no problem. But if I was to say I wanted that, I'd be right on that seam, and that would be difficult to join up. But if I could move it in there, and I could just take this, well, I'd have to go up a little bit, so, or if I was here, I would be okay as well. You just have to watch where your seams are. And then I cut it out. And there, you can almost use it for any block. If you have a half square triangle, and you put your half square, you put a color with it. And with half square triangles, you can make hundreds of different designs. I made a quilt there back a couple of years ago out of half square triangles blocks, and each block I made different. They were all half square triangles in each of these blocks. I did use a few plain blocks mixed in, but 90% or more was half square triangles, and they were all different. But you see, you can add them like that. You can put sashing around them. So that there's one method you can use. You can make, where's my, well, here it is. You can make a block like this, like a 4-patch. You can make the disappearing 4-patch by cutting it here and here. This one would be all right, cutting it like this. This one would be okay as well. But some blocks, if you had a line like this, if this was right in the center, you wouldn't want to have to sew on that seam. So you'd have to be a little more careful, I think. And this is a 9-patch, a disappearing 9-patch that I'll put it together the way it originally was. Or something like, well, I think this, anyway, something like that. But you cut this, and if you wanted to turn these different ways, that would give you a disappearing 9-patch. So you could do that with it, but you'd have to be, as I said, careful where you cut through this block. This is a 9-patch. could do it, oops, I got static cling. You could do it all green or any color solid you'd like. You could put the scrap blocks out here instead. You could put sashing around it. You could make these smaller blocks. I think these are a 5-inch. Yeah, these are a 5-inch block. Here's another way. Excuse me a second. Here's another way to make your half square, your squares. And I just put some, this would be your sashing, and you could put your little cornerstones in. Like that. I wouldn't use that pink with these colors, but it just gives you an idea. And then another way is a hexagon. And I said I have made a few of these hexagon ones, and I've made 4 patches. Never made a 9 patch. But that may be next, who knows. So I've got my hexagon pattern, and this is my hexagon, and then I have to put a 60-degree angle for here and down here, and this will give you a rectangle as opposed to a square. Now you can put them points up, or you could run them sideways, whichever you prefer. I wanted to show you how I got my angle. It's, if you have a square, or I mean a triangle, got my ruler, then you're all set, a 60-degree triangle. But I don't have one. So I have my ruler, and it has a 60, a 45, and a 30-degree angle. So for my 60, I don't know whether you can see that or not. It runs here, up through. Need a pencil or something here. So to get my angle, I go this way and line it up, and then here, and then I just draw. Now that will be much too large for my triangle. Or another way you can do it is just line this up along the side, and you point up here at a square corner, and then draw a line across here. But you need it a lot bigger than this. I measure down 3/4 of an inch, and that gives me plenty of room or size. So this is down 3/4 of an inch. I had marked it before, and I draw it across here, and this will be my pattern. Now I could go up an inch from this line, but I just found this worked well too. So then this is my angle I need. And I need the longest side along here, and this side I've placed it on here and stitched it. Now I have some to trim off. 1/2 inch would probably have been just about right, but I like to use just a little bit bigger, and then I know I'm going to be okay. Then once that's sewn on, I fold that back and press it. And then I take my long angle again, my long side, put it on here, and sew that. And then when this folds back up, then I just trim that off. And the same, you can see when I've got these sewn on, this side I have trimmed, and this side I will place here. Let's line it up like that and sew it, or trim it all off. And the same with this, I go up 1/2 inch from my point and then trim that off. And that gives me my block. This gives it me a floating, I think you call it a floating block. It looks like as if this is behind and this is sort of sitting out. And the same with this. This would be like this. And this will be this will be trimmed off here. So this gives you a square corner. So they're easy to put together. You can put sashing around them. You can, you know, it's almost, you know, or join them side by side. I have joined them side by side. And this gives you a, and this would be like, yeah, like that. And then if you wanted to, you could put a little, or it would be just a square. Now I have a quilt here. It wasn't done with scraps. The last one I did was with scraps, but I've already given it away, so I can't show yet. This is more of a nice spy quilt. And I made my hexagon, and then this is my corner. I put the sashing between and a little cornerstone. And then for the border, I put those pieces together, and I didn't make them all the same size. I made them kind of wonky, just whatever I had. And then in the corner here I just put an extra piece of the border to fill it in. If I'd have brought them here, I'd have been butting up. So I thought this would probably look better. So that's a few ideas on how to make or use up your blocks that you have sewn together. And surprising how fast they go together and how fast you can make blocks of them. You can make any quilt pattern. You can use these almost in any quilt block. Like you could take this and you could put a little triangle in each corner. Or you could just look at your pattern that you're going to make of a quilt and see how you could use those in your quilt. So be sure and subscribe. Touch the bell so you'll get a notice. Give me a thumbs up and share. And thanks for watching. Bye now.